America, hopefully not underwater. Tony, are you going to be watching?
Well, I may well, because I'm not a hater at all, but I remember this actually. I just remember being in Dubai in '97 and watching Diana, Princess Diana, on the boat with Dodie, and how all the British public were hating Diana, starting to hate her. She died, and then everybody loved her. And before she did die, I remember she very famously said about the royal family, they want her to go away, but she won't. She said that in an interview.
Tony, is what you're doing by watching them, is that you showing support for that alternative view of the monarchy? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really dangerous manipulation of the public that happened here. The same that happened with Diana. I think that there's a big audience for the Meghan and Harry than the media would want you, and the royals would want you to see. I'm also fascinated that Channel 5, and I probably won't get divided back on again, I'm really fascinated with every documentary that Channel 5 runs. It's always very positive about Charles and William, and even though allegedly, William, on social media, everyone knows the stories about William on social media, which I won't repeat, but it's very biased. I would sometimes feel like there's a deal being done with the royals, with their aides, to promote positively Charles, William, Camilla, and Catherine, okay, and do the opposite with Harry.
I haven't carried out a thorough audit of Five's output, so I couldn't comment on that particularly. Interesting though, Dawn, what Tony's saying. What Tony's saying is that we are being manipulated. We are being manipulated into hating on Meghan and Harry. Is that the case, or are we being manipulated into watching this content instead on Netflix?
The way the media works, and I've worked in newspapers for a long time, the way the media works is you give what people want. You won't sell newspapers, you won't sell a TV programme unless you deliver what the public demand is there for. That is true. I've worked in newspaper for a long time, that is true. If you don't put on the front page of your newspaper what sells, you're not going to have a newspaper for much longer. So the fact that the royals are on page one of a newspaper, whether it's Harry and Meghan, whether it's Charles and Diana back in the day, it's because they sell. It's because the public are interested.
Well, why does a newspaper, though, have to adopt a stance? Why does it have to be either pro-royals or pro-Harry and Meghan? Why can't it represent both points of view?
Because, as you know as well as I do, you have to have an opinion. For Marvin and I to sit here and go, well, actually, I agree, that's a great thing.
Well,
that's not a show. That's not a show. Yeah, but that's not a show. But absolutely, but you have to have a point that, that you're trying to reflect your audience. You're trying to reflect whether it's a reader or a viewer. You're trying to reflect your audience, and it's very easy to pick up on what your viewers think, and you simply feed it back to them.
Do you not think, you've interviewed Diana
yes, I did.
in the past, and you saw how that terrible, tragic story, wouldn't it be great if we got a different result this time, if we could actually allow those people to live their lives out in peace?
Well, they should maybe then stop telling their story, like with the Oprah Winfrey interview, maybe stop telling. They're the ones monetising their experience. They started doing that.
Well,
so
they didn't have to do that. So it is really important that they find a way to live. They're actually doing it by creating content, not constantly selling titillating stories. The actual extended royal family that come from Prince Andrew and the other, the Fergusons and whoever's, those people have had to try and find a way to maintain themselves.
Spare was full of sensational facts, Mark.
Say again?
Spare was full of sensational facts. You can't say they haven't monetised private conversations.
But trying to say you're monetising your story when it's your story, and because people are willing to pay for your story, is not actually accurate. I think more importantly, just very quickly, just to even question whether her story or her presence has value, when we have Gwyneth Paltrow, who's got a similar style show on Netflix called Group Lab, what's the interest in her greater than what? Because of Coldplay or because of her acting? So as far as I'm concerned, she has a lot of validity in her story and the ability to sell it if she
Let's take another call. Sophie's in Berkshire.
Well, C-News, you heard that right. Some people have just had enough of the royal and media bullshit. Tony came in hot on a recent talk show, dropping a truth bomb that had everyone's jaws on the floor. We're being manipulated by the media to hate Harry and Meghan. His phone-in was a straight-up takedown of the press and their cosy relationship with the royal family, especially when it comes to slamming the Sussexes' Netflix projects. It wasn't just a defense of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It was a middle finger to the tabloids and royal cheerleaders who've been working overtime to make the couple public enemy #1. The parallels to Princess Diana are hard to miss. Back in the day, the media flipped on her when she stopped playing the royal game. She was too real, too loved, and too much trouble for the palace, so they painted her as a mess, unstable, rebellious, you name it. Now, Harry and Meghan are getting the same. Insane. The media's been milking their lives for years, spinning half-truths and straight-up lies, often with juicy leaks from the palace. But when the Sussexes drop their own Netflix project or book to tell their side, suddenly they're sellouts or traitors. It's pure gaslighting, a weak attempt to keep them quiet while everyone else gets rich off their pain. Then you've got folks like Dawn Neeson, who've built whole careers off tearing into Harry and Meghan, acting all high and mighty while dishing dirt. Why is it fine for these pundits to profit off the Sussexes' story, but the couple can't? It's all about control. The royals and their media buddies want to own the narrative, making sure only their version gets out there. When Harry and Meghan speak for themselves, whether on Netflix, with Oprah, or through Archewell, they're flipping the script, and the palace can't handle it. It's like the royals are shook by a couple just trying to live their truth. The media's basically the royal family's hype man. The palace has a history of leaking dirt on anyone who steps out of line. Diana, Fergie, now Harry and Meghan. It's their go-to move, sick the press on the problem with anonymous sources and hit pieces. And the media? They lap it up, churning out stories that fit the royal agenda. Channel 5's docs are a perfect example. They're not news, they're propaganda with slick editing. It's time to stop falling for it and start asking who's really behind the headlines. The big question is why people are so quick to hate on Harry and Meghan when they haven't done anything to deserve it. All they did was say we're done and try to live life on their terms. Their Netflix projects aren't some shady cash grab. They're about setting the record straight after years of lies. But the media, with the royals egging them on, spins it like they're attacking the monarchy. It's a total con, and it's infuriating how easily people buy into it. This whole mess isn't just about Harry and Meghan, it's about a broken system. The media's too tight with the royals, and the royals are too happy to let the press do their dirty work. The Sussexes' Netflix hustle is their way of fighting back, telling their story without the palace's filter. It's a wake-up call to stop letting the media and royals play us for suckers. Harry and Meghan are out here living their truth, building their own empire, and showing the world they don't need a crown to make a difference. And honestly, more of us should have their back.